So I want to talk about the biggest Packers training camp battles to watch as we get closer and closer to Packers training camp, which is now not that far away, which is very exciting. It means we're getting closer to the preseason, which means we're getting closer to the regular season, and in no time, we'll be back to actually having some real-life Packers football to watch, and it'll be fun to get back into the swing of things, react to games, all that kind of stuff. It's, the offseason can be fun at times, but there's nothing better than, getting back into the regular season. And so looking through this Packers roster, there's not that many starters, I would say, starting positions up for grabs when it comes to, in my mind, competition. Because we got Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs, a receiver. I think that the top receivers are pretty much locked up there. But where I'd say the biggest potential change when it comes to starters could be on the offensive line. And so starting off, I'll say offensive line. We have seen the Packers and OTAs and minicamp really, try lots of different players with Rasheed Walker, Elton Jenkins, Josh Myers, Sean Rhyan, Zach Tom, Jordan Morgan, moving them around a lot. Zach Tom has been injured with a pec injury. We saw Jordan Morgan play right tackle, left tackle, guard. We've seen, Rasheed Walker was left tackle last year. Zach Tom was right tackle last year. And so, one of the biggest questions for this offensive line is left tackle, right tackle, and I would say right guard, because it could be any one of Jordan Morgan, maybe could be left tackle, could take over for Rasheed Walker, which then makes you wonder, okay, does that mean, Zach Tom, would he stay at right tackle? Could he shift to guard? Would they want to try Rasheed Walker at right tackle? That's going to be a competition to watch. Jordan Morgan, I'd say, versus Rasheed Walker. I'd say Elton Jenkins is pretty much locked in at left guard unless something changed. Josh Myers at center. And then I would say the right guard spot is definitely up for grabs because Jon Runyan gone. Sean Rhyan is probably set there for now, right now at this point because he played there last season. But Jordan Morgan could end up being a guard. He could end up taking over there for Sean Rhyan, and the Packers could keep Walker at left tackle, Zach Tom at right tackle. So I'm really curious to watch how all of that shakes out. And then we'll have some competition at the bottom of the roster with guys like Royce Newman competing against all these new rookies, Jacob Monk, Travis Glover, Jordan Morgan. He's sort of a lock there, I'd say, being a first-rounder. And then Andre Dillard coming in this offseason. So there's a lot of different things to watch there on the Packers offensive line. That's one where there's some uncertainty as to who will be starting where at that position. Then at running back, Josh Jacobs, no doubt, locked to be RB1. But the one to watch is the RB2 battle. Will third-rounder Marshawn Lloyd from USC immediately become the Packers' RB2 over A.J. Dillon and Emmanuel Wilson? I think right now, before training camp has started, I'm predicting that Marshawn Lloyd will take that second running back spot. I think that he just has so much ability, elusiveness, speed, and I think he'll be, with Josh Jacobs when he, takes some snaps off. I think it'd be nice to keep a guy like Marshawn Lloyd in there who can bring you that speed and that explosiveness that a guy like A.J. Dillon, he's just not quite the same type of running back as those two guys. And I think there are situations where A.J. Dillon will be needed, having a big physical back. But that's one to watch, no doubt. A.J. Dillon does have a pretty cheap contract this year. He could even potentially be released. It wouldn't hurt the Packers' cap that bad. And so we'll have to watch there. And even Emmanuel Wilson versus A.J. Dillon. But I would say for sure Marshawn Lloyd makes the roster, probably A.J. Dillon, but we'll have to watch Emmanuel Wilson as well. So those are the two of the biggest ones. As I said, receiver, not much competition I'm really looking at there. I mean, you could debate the bottom of the roster, but I think it's pretty much set in stone for the most part. And the other one, looking at linebacker, in OTAs and minicamp, Edgerrin Cooper wasn't really playing starting off with the ones. But I think by the time the season comes around, he will. So it'll still be a competition. He'll have to push his way through to get to that point. But I think with him being a second rounder, he's going to get there before the season starts. But we could watch that as well. And then cornerback, that's definitely another big one. And the two people I'll be watching here is, Eric Stokes versus Carrington Valentine. Because there's no doubt Jair, he's starting. Keyshawn Nixon likely in the slot, even though maybe Javon Bullard, draft pick, could play there as well a little bit. But Eric Stokes versus Carrington Valentine, who will win that other outside corner job? Because Eric Stokes has dealt with lots of injuries, but Matt LaFleur seems to be pretty confident in what he's done this offseason, said he looks, pretty good. Carrington Valentine, he, played a lot of snaps last year, had a lot of big moments, was I'd say a pretty good corner. He could take some steps forward, so we need to watch, those two guys and sort of see who can win that battle there. And then safety, Xavier McKinney, no doubt a lock to start. And I would say that Javon Bullard is going to win that starting job. He, wasn't playing there much in OTAs and minicamp, but these are young players, and I wouldn't, expect them necessarily to start off there. But by the time the season starts, I think Javon Bullard will have pushed his way past Anthony Johnson and become the starting safety next to Xavier McKinney. And then finally, definitely the kicker battle. Anders Carlson, can he hold his own spot, or will Greg Joseph, push forward there and overtake that? I think that Anders Carlson is going to end up being the kicker because he was a Packers draft pick, and I think the Packers brought in Joseph to be that competition if, they thought they needed to elevate him to that role. But I think it's going to be Anders in the end. So those are the biggest battles I'll be watching. And so you guys, if you want to stay up to date with all things Packers during training camp, feel free to subscribe down below. Turn on the notifications so you never miss any Packers content. And I'll see you guys next time.